Open up your eyes, take a look at me. Get the picture fixed in your memory. I'm driven by the rhythm like the beat of a heart. And I won't stop until I start to stand out.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the happiest podcast on earth. That's right, we are back with LorcanaCast. We've got the whole team. We've got Chris, we've got Skeff, we've got Jason. How is everybody doing? It's so good to be back.
Awesome, man.
I'm happy to be back on the island, guys. Thanks for not kicking me off the island.
Doing well after the meal, buddy. Doing good.
Yeah, we're starting to get our feet wet, but conveniently, while we took a little break, we got a lot of cards from the Disney Lorcana Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. So I think this is going to be a fun week just because we get to see a little bit more into the mechanics of Lorcana, and with the game honestly around the corner. Spring is not that far away. Gen Con is not that far away either. And by the time we get to Gen Con, boom, the game is released. Now is a really good time to start getting word of mouth out to people about, Lorcana, starting a game night, maybe playing some board games, but starting to foster a community. And a lot of people have been asking for tips and tricks on how to do that. So we're going to definitely talk about that. But first up, we are going to talk about some new cards that we've got in the docket. And first up, we're going to talk about the newest one, which is an item card, a brand new card that we saw starting with the Magic Mirror, and it's White Rabbit's Pocket Watch. This is in purple, and the cost is 3 with a swirl around it. I think that's going to be important later. And then the ability is I'm late. You tap or exert this card. You pay 1 mana, and it states chosen character gains rush this turn. And the rush keyword is that character can challenge the turn they're played. So what's really interesting about the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch is rush being a keyword that you can give to characters would infer that characters inherently, without that ability, cannot do anything, which in Magic the Gathering is called summoning sickness. And for those who don't know what that means, once you play a creature or character onto the field, you can't do anything. You cannot exert them for abilities. You can't activate special effects. You cannot attack or challenge. They just sit there for a turn. And then on your next turn, you can use them for whatever you want. So what do y'all think about the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you think you'll see play?
I think it just kind of confirms all the kind of suspicions we had about the correlation between the concept of playing quote unquote a creature and then waiting a turn to use the ability, or in this sense, the exert ability on the card.
Yeah, I think the confirmation of summoning sicknesses in the game is good. I think it's a key aspect to many card games these days because it gives your opponent basically the opportunity to respond, right? So we don't know the extent, like Sugi said, if it really is the full Magic rules about summoning sickness. Maybe it could be partially that. Maybe you could still use some different types of abilities when the character comes in. Maybe they come in tapped and you can't exert them, but maybe they have some other onboard abilities. We don't know that part of it. But assuming that we're using Magic rules, yeah, it's going to create pacing in the game where your opponent feels like they have agency to do something about your big bad character before they could actually be used, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the card will see play. I mean, obviously, if we go off the still speculation, as we always say about how the resource system is going to work, and it's going to take a few turns to be able to get this into play, and then to be able to exert it and utilize it. But I think with this, being a base set, I think it will see play. The question that I have for the table is that, in a conversation I've had on Twitter with some people, is do you guys think we're going to be able to have multiple items in play, one item in play? So like if we play this and we want to play another item, do we have to discard this one to our discard in order to play a new one? How do you guys think items specifically are going to work?
I think it'll correlate. Right. Exactly. I was going to say, I feel it's going to correlate to Magic, but here's what I'm also going to assume, that I believe there will be item cards that will be you only can have one of these in play,
legendary or whatever,
a legendary keyword
or a unique location. How Pokemon you can have one stadium in play, but in Magic you have infinite enchantments, infinite, in play. Yeah. But I feel it's gonna follow those lines along the Magic lane. for that concept.
I think it's super fun to have a whole bunch of what we call in card games permanents. So, just cards that stick around and doing something over and over again. So it's fun to create a board of permanent objects. You can like make a, Rube Goldberg machine. What is a Rube Goldberg machine? Of things happening to get combos going off. So I hope they'll let you like actually build a field of them. And it's not just such a thing where you only have like one of this type of item out, one of this type of item out. I hope you can have, as many items as you want to play. Obviously, generally, items themselves, like this watch shows, need an interaction with. Generally, they're not the things doing damage, right? Or doing victory points on their own, because that would be pretty powerful if you said an item drop down and like, get one victory point around. Usually, that they work in conjunction with something else. So they're usually combo starters or part of a combo, which I think is fun.
Yeah, I think the more interesting thought is, can you use an item immediately like an artifact in Magic, or do the items also have a summoning sickness that prevents them from being utilized immediately? Because that's
a good question. Yeah,
that would change the pacing of the power of items. Because if you think about it, White Rabbit's Pocket Watch would essentially give you 4 mana, give anything you play or have played rush. And that's gnarly, especially if you have a lot of mana like deep in the game. So, you could pop like, I don't know, if you have 10 mana, you could pop a Scar. So you play the Scar, get the ability, and then you swing with them. And we'll talk about them later. But I mean, like, if you have to play
I didn't
the
even think about that.
Wait,
that's disgusting. I didn't even think about that.
The item is going to have summoning sickness, but you can probably use.
Why? It's an artifact. Magic doesn't have summoning sickness for artifacts.
Correct. But then you get to the concept of just like, the items become OP.
It's a question of how they balance the game, right? We don't know. Like, again, it's about the balance of all the cards. It's really hard to look at this thing.
None of these are like game breaking. Like even Magic Mirror, which we'll get to in a second. Like 4 mana, draw a card.
But compounding them, I don't know. I feel like correlation of just like the concept of summoning sickness would apply to anything played that doesn't have the when you play this character. If it has the tap ability, I feel you would have to wait a turn unless a card states you can change that otherwise.
I agree with both of you. Like we probably haven't seen anything yet that's game breaking, but we also don't know what the game rules are that's to break it at all, right?
Yeah.
But if you're building it around that, the fact that they could come down and do that, then you're going to reduce the power level knowing that items could give somebody a rush right away, right? You're going to build with that in mind. If the items have summoning sickness, you're going to build that in mind. That's kind of a way that the opponent could deal with this prior to it going off, right? So I think it goes either way. Like we've only seen a small portion of the cards, right?
I'll bet you a booster pack. Silver is going to have rush and challenger, because Captain Hook without summoning sickness, it was scary. Now it's like, okay, I've got some time to deal with him. But can you imagine having Pocket Watch online, throw down a Captain Hook, give him rush, and you're like, oh, here's my 3/2 for 1 mana. Ha ha.
And then potentially Simba too, once we see what he does.
My money's that I think Simba's going to have rush.
He should, but we'll see.
He's gonna rush in and watch his dad crumble to the ground, and
family podcast.
Oh, you're right. No, I didn't say he died. He's sleeping.
He got erased.
Oh yeah, his ink didn't dry fast enough.
He got stampeded. What happened? What happened was he got
stampeded. Gentlemen, quickly, we need to pivot.
What had happened was
pivot.
But okay. So in all seriousness, though, after seeing the rush keyword, I'm very intrigued what Steel has to offer, because we've only seen Captain Hook, and it's a very aggressive card. A 1-drop for 1/2 when attacking gets +2 attack. That's scary. With rush or haste, I'm going to call it haste because that's what it is. That is really disgusting, and I'm willing to bet Steel has rush built into its kit. So you just slap it down and swing for the heavens, baby.
If it has it built in, then I'm going to play it.
Yeah. I was like, crud. I'm going to see a bunch of Steel players aggro lists. Just red deck wins. Here we go. It's okay. We'll survive. So moving along, let's talk about the second item on our list, although it was the first item revealed. And I think this is also an interesting mechanic that we're kind of starting to figure out a little bit more, and that is the Magic Mirror. This is also in purple. It is a 2-cost card. However, there is no swirl around the cost, and the ability is called Speak. You exert the card, so you tap it, you pay 4 mana, you draw a card. The ability is very straightforward. This is not new to card games whatsoever. Card draw is always very good. We don't know how the resource system works, So we cannot tell if this is going to be like fast to give you card advantage or slow or mid-range. But the big thing we were able to pull off is we're pretty confident that if there is a swirl around the casting cost of a card, you have to pay a mana or an ink or a resource of the card's color in order to play the card. And if there is no swirl, you can pay whatever resource you want. So the argument has been made because we've seen things like Hades, who is an 8-drop. There's no swirl around him. And when you see the shift ability, it says shift 6, and it's 6 and the hexagon, no swirl. When you see the magic mirror, it's 4 mana, the hexagon, no swirl. And we've actively seen multiple cards with and without a swirl. So there's something relative to that. What do you guys think about this? And what do you think about the ability to pay for, draw a card?
I mean, personally, I think this is so bad. I think paying 4 to draw 1 card is, I don't know, to me, coming from games where you use minimal resources to draw more than 1 card, I can't see paying in total 6 to draw 1 card. But that's just me.
It's hard to tell. I mean, again, without more knowledge, it could be really good, it could be mediocre. It does seem pretty expensive when you compare it to what's going on, but if you're only getting 1 card naturally per round, right, it could be powerful to double that up, basically double your draw power. Drawing cards in games is really important. And who knows if you can, maybe cards could be another type of resource too. We don't know that yet. So it's hard to say, but it could be good.
It's just, I feel like it's something that they had to, like, you guys know, like when they come out with sets, they're just like, we have to put something like that in the set. Like, I'm like, we have to add some sort of item draw card. Is it playable? We'll let them figure it out, but it's got to be in there.
I will say I love that all the abilities have, and I wonder if there's anything with that, but all the abilities having a name, so like speak or I'm late or Insidious plot, like that might just be the formatting, but it's cool. It's a little different than other games have done it. I feel like, the other games would just have the ability, right? They wouldn't have a name for the ability or some kind of word to go with it. So I know I'm planning on every time I play the usability, I'm going to say that. So I'm gonna yell at Sugi, speak.
Oh,
I'm late. And I'm gonna do all that.
They've got fiber bars for you if you're late.
You're trying to get us in trouble tonight on the podcast, aren't you?
No.
We are canceled after 4 months. All right.
You were doing so good for so long, and now Sugi wants to go all risky.
Oh darn! All right, time to go play Yu-Gi-Oh again.
We did our best.
Master Duel or Pokemon, all those new cards for Scarlet and Violet coming out. Woohoo! So I think Magic Mirror is pretty basic. The most interesting thing for me was the fact that we're starting to suspect that non-swirled cards are basically like colorless-esque cards from Magic. You can pay whatever resources you want. So we'll have to wait and see if that's true, but I'm pretty confident we'll find out sooner than later. So moving along.
And just one second more about the power level of it. Again, it could be a combo type thing too. We don't know, what if somebody has an ability that triggers off of you drawing cards, right? So every time you draw a card, you get a victory point. Every time you draw a card. I mean, that's really ridiculously powerful, but I'm just saying, so it could be part of a combo. It's 2 costs, comes out, your first turn, you could draw a card by the time it comes back around to you again, right? So, it could be part of a combo.
Could be. Stitch players probably just had just a mad laugh when you said that, like, oh, if I draw a card, I get to do a thing, get a victory point. Then you just play a bunch of low cost cards and get victory points and win. Dirty. That's just dirty. All right, so the next card we're going to talk about is an action card called Healing Glow. It is 1 mana, 1 resource with the swirl around it. And the ability is very simple. Remove up to 2 damage counters, or remove up to 2 damage from a chosen character. Thoughts on this card?
Yeah, I think we talked about persistent damage pretty recently. So I think we're kind of in the right track with the 4 of us, kind of covering a wide array of gaming knowledge that we've been talking about this for a while, that we thought this was going to be the case. So I dig it.
I feel that it's one of those things where once again, where I'm like, we should put a healing card in there. What are you going to do? I don't know, like 2 for 2. All right, sounds good. Put it in there.
I think regardless of what the card does, it does confirm that damage is persistent, which we were speculating may or may not be, because in Magic, the damage stays on the character until the end of the turn, so either they die or they don't die. Whereas with Lorcana, you're going to have little tokens to track.
Like in Pokemon.
Like Pokemon,
so
yeah,
damage,
exactly.
Damage counter before the creature becomes, or the character becomes, deleted.
Dismissed.
I wouldn't hate the OP kits to have official Lorcana dice to track the damage. Wink, wink.
No, they're actually gonna have like little. There's gonna be little Mickey Mouse heads.
I hate you. I hate you so much. You reminded me of the time. You ever seen those Mickey Mouse glitter heads? Those little tiny. Yeah, screw you, buddy. That would be awful.
They're gonna be so great. Just like in Imperial Assault and Destiny.
Now I will say this. I don't know if anybody saw, but this is not related. But Pokemon Day or whatever was a couple days ago, and so they announced new DLC for Pokemon, whatever. But they announced a really cool new premium Pokemon trading card game box set with the original Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur decks.
Correct. Yeah.
But they had these really cool damage counters. They look like little pointy clown hats.
Very futuristic. Very minimal. Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool. Very minimal, and it just says like 10 or 30, and you just stack it on top of the Pokemon. So instead of a die, they have different colors, so you can just look at the stack and tell there's 40 damage or 30. So it would be cool if they did little stacking damage tokens like that, where it eats up a very small footprint, but you can tell very quickly how much damage is on the character.
So I think I literally just had a light bulb, and I think I know why we have so many tokens in the boxes.
Okay, why?
For counters.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for damage, yeah.
For damage.
Don't use dice to track your health.
That's why it comes with all the counters. That's why there's so many counters, because it comes with enough so each person can then share the pool of counters.
Yeah, but it's going to be those like little cardboard tokens that kind of suck.
Exactly. That's what these counters are.
No, just use dice.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what the counters are in the box.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right. Like I was like, what are the counters? What are they for? I'm like,
he's just explaining why we get like 30 of them.
Yeah, that's why there's 40
cardboard tokens. Yeah,
yes, that's what those are.
So you might hear this term as well. This is not a swear word, but in board game territory, they're called chits. CHITS. No. It's a professional game term. So you might hear them be called cardboard chits, but tokens, whatever you want to call them, they're just it's a little packet of cardboard punch outs. That's it.
I prefer when the chits are easier. It's easier when the chits are smaller.
I hope they're larger so you don't lose them, because when they're really tiny, they just disappear. Or do you remember back in the day where Pokemon had those little those bathroom beads?
The Mancala beads?
Yeah, the Mancala board beads. Yeah. Those were so cool. Totally useless, but super cool.
You just throw them at your friends and try to hit them as hard as you can.
Now, I would be okay if they put those beads back in for Lorcana, like blues are ones and reds are threes.
Oh God!
Back in the day.
I mean, the health of the character so far is fairly low. But 9 is the highest, right?
But think of like how many characters you can have in play though with you and your opponent.
Oh wait, correction, I'm
6,
wrong.
7,
Hades is 7. Yeah, Hades is 6, 7.
Like, I don't know. I just don't, especially for tournaments. It probably will happen, but I'm not a proponent of dice, because dice inevitably get bumped, they get moved. That's the same thing. You can make the same argument about chits and tokens themselves too, right? People forget to take them on and put them off, right? But dice getting bumped is always a legit thing. So obviously, casual play, whatever at home. I'd be interested to see like what they do. A lot of game companies don't use dice
stickers. Just like put a sticker on for each piece of damage and then
scrape it off.
Use grab a Sharpie.
Use a Sharpie. Yeah.
Well,
you can see how much damage a card has taken over its lifespan.
All these all these people that make laser printers or whatever.
Dry erase markers. Dry erase marker on your. You just wipe it off. Just get the matte finish sleeve. And then just grind on the card.
Actually, you're not wrong. If it's in a sleeve, you could use a dry erase.
You can use a dry erase marker. I got speaking from experience at one point or another.
You guys play
Unmatched? Do you have any counters? I have a marker though.
You guys know Unmatched, the board game?
Yes.
That is my favorite game.
I love that game. So the little dials, that'd be perfect for this. The little health dials.
Oh yeah, health dials would be actually pretty cool for this.
That cost way too much money. They ain't gonna make like 40.
No. You get
to blink out your games, man.
Yeah, you gotta blink out your
games. And then even if you want to you could have one for your green deck and one for your blue deck, and you could have them all color coded. I got y'all.
Actually, I don't hate that idea because there's a million different like small token dials you can get on Etsy for real cheap. They're all acrylic. They look really nice.
Or even the magic spin count. What are those things? The click down,
the spin down.
Not spin
those
down
are
dice.
Not cheap.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't. It'd be interesting to see how many people you actually have out there. Your opponent's going to be most decks are going to be trying to clear your your glimmers off, right? I mean, they're going to be trying to
maybe
control
we don't
board.
know. There could be other. I mean, Sugi wants to mill things. Sugi doesn't even want to play the game. He just wants to like not play the game
Yes, Sugi.
and have the opponent not play the game
player.
too.
I would never
I'm just
play
saying.
Mill.
I'm just speaking out loud of what that does.
Wow, I feel like I just got jumped on. I was like,
I wasn't playing Mill all day today at Magic Arena.
But man, Mill is a way of life.
But back to the concept of just the damage, just like in Pokemon.
Dude, what a hit and run. Like, screw that guy over there. Also, let's get back to the conversation.
I'll give you a chance.
Mill players, suck it. Wait, what? Hold on now.
So, but the concept of that, the damage roll, like it stays until you do something or your opponent deletes your character. So that just shows that there's like a longevity to like, all right, these characters that you play, you have to be careful in the thought process of like going into it like, oh, this is not like, oh, it becomes a 6/8 again. No, it's like, oh, it has 1 health left. What are we going to do?
So two things coming off of Healing Glow that I really like. One, it says remove up to 2 damage from chosen character, which means you can target not your own characters.
Right.
Which would infer, again, multiplayer, aka Robin Hood, because he has that ability. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you do, not one, but if and, you get to draw a card. So I think that's interesting. Also, with persistent damage, generally in the lifespan of a game, you will see a character or a character archetype that get better when they have more damage. So usually it's like an aggressive character, or, traditionally it's someone who has like a lot of defense and health and very little attack. And so normally it's like, for each damage on this character, they get +2 attack and they'll have like 5 or 6 health. So if they get down to like 1 health left, now you're swinging with, 8, 9 attack. It's like, ugh. So you could use Healing Glow to kind of offset that if something, like that goes down. But I don't know if this card is good. Like one for 2 is not a bad trade. I just think we got more information about the game from the card than anything else, because the card effect is pretty standard. Pay resource, heal, cool. Merry Christmas. So moving on, let's talk
something
about.
Like that. Yeah, go
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just like, it can't swing a turn. Like just a 2 health, it can swing a turn. So just like it's nice to have it. Just a surprise. So,
well, if you want to be rude, you could play. I'm assuming you could play 3 or 4 cards in a deck in a play set.
You can just heal a character in 1 turn. Yeah,
it'd be really fun. You're like, I'm going to drop 3 Healing Glows. What? Yeah, I heal 6 damage. Bo.
Enjoy your nothing turn.
No. All right. So next up, we have a character. I super loved this reveal. This is Scar the Mastermind. I'm absolutely going to play this card and hopefully find ways to do all kinds of stupid combos with it. But it is a 6 resource card with the swirl around it. So probably one of those has to be in blue. It is 5 attack, 4 defense, Storyborn villain, and a very, very cool ability called Insidious Plot. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -5 attack this turn. So this card does not need rush. You don't have to exert it. The moment it hits the field, you get this effect. So I'm assuming, again, this is a speculation podcast until further notice, that when you attack something, both characters deal damage to each other. So if you have, a 5/4 and you swing into something that's like a 4/4, you will both die because you deal 5 damage to it. It deals 4 damage to you. Both of you have 4 health. You're dead. But Scar gives you the ability to take something that's pretty beefy, considering the upper echelon of attack we've seen is 7 and 6. And with Scar, you turn them into a 1 or a 2, and then you can swing into them with your creatures, and you don't really lose that much in return. I think Scar's nasty. And we've already seen a way to blink him out with Cruella. If Cruella dies, you can return a chosen character to their hand, which Scar is a really nasty thing to throw down and just turn off an opponent's character twice. Like, ooh. And then, of course, if you give him Rush, which we were talking about, you could be a real... So, like, say on like a previous turn, you throw down the Rabbit's Pocket Watch, and then on a subsequent turn, you throw down Scar for 6, you pay 1 additional mana to give him Rush, you turn off something you don't want to deal with, and then you swing in with his 5 attack, which is pretty beefy, and you've got a pretty nice combo going on there where you can just, take out a threat, no problem. I mean, Maleficent is a 7/5 dragon. Oh no, Morshi's like, a 2/5 dead monster.
He's very good. Scar was one of the cards I was looking forward to. I told you guys he's one of my favorite Disney characters. So I love Scar Mastermind. Blue might be one of my colors I'm going into.
I mean, Dragonfire would just get rid of Scar.
Sure, but not until he already debuffed your character.
It'd be interesting.
Word to your mama.
And
it'll be interesting to see if you could play actions during your opponent's turn.
And you're spending 5 to get rid of my 6 cost, right?
Yeah.
So you're already. So I mean, like that's another thing with Dragonfire. You got to really, think about how much you're spending to get rid of something. What Scar. Most of the Scar's power. Well, not most of. A lot of Scar's power is coming down from its own playability, right? Like that's a big thing, and setting up a turn and taking advantage of that. So once he's played, he's already doing most of what you want from him. I'm not 5/4 still really good, obviously, but a lot of his power is in that on playability. So yeah, go ahead and use your Dragonfire on him.
I won't lie, I'm a little annoyed that Jumba as the 4/5 could kill a Scar, and Jumba's a 5-drop vanilla. I mean, don't get me wrong, Scar is probably going to pop out and weaken your opponent's biggest thing, so you kill it. But like 5/4 is not invulnerable by any means.
It's that ability. That's why you're paying. That's why you're paying. I mean, you're
paying 6 for that ability.
Right.
You're paying 6 for a body that hopefully turns off an opponent's character so you can swing in safely and either take no damage or minimal damage.
You got to imagine with that ability appearing on a top tier character like Scar, that ability to weaken, debuff opponent's character is probably going to be pretty limited, at least in this fashion.
I'm going to call it. This is a hot take, but I'm pretty confident you're going to see cards like this in major tournament decks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. It seems really good.
I mean, the only thing we don't know is the mana system, but even still, on turn 6, if it's the standard 1 mana per turn, this is a monster. Like, straight up gas.
I mean, you're taking down you're taking down some big things. Like if you could take down Maleficent. So you're taking down something that costs 3 resources more than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to give it rush, obviously. But even like, again, assuming that we could target whatever character we want on the opponent's board, assuming we could target it with multiple of our attackers, if that's the rules, it's not gonna be hard. Really what you're gaining with him is the ability to gang up, right? To use a lot of your small guys and let them live to take down a bigger guy, right? That's why it's so cool. It's like if there's
a weenie rushdown deck, this boy is going to be the king of that.
He's a leader of that, right?
Oh my god! Because I mean, think about it. So I don't think.
So therefore, we know how much the hyenas are going to cost, then, right?
Oh, look at that, Skip.
Yeah, they should be like 3 or 4 costs.
No, they should be cheaper. They should be even cheaper.
2.
No, they should probably be ones and twos.
Like a 2/2/1.
Yeah, I think
it should be a 2 cost, 2 attack, 1 defense.
About that. That's a great
They're
idea.
your hyenas. There'll be 3 of them, and
be prepared.
That's it. And they'll have that in the title.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. There it is.
Yeah,
There's my hot take for the evening.
I think
3 hyena
right.
cards.
Higher Skiff.
Yep.
Well,
it
makes sense because in the movie he used them as like little pawns to attack his little targets.
Thematically, it works.
Yeah, thematically it works. Okay, question: are they in blue or in a different color? Because I feel like they'd be in red.
They're gonna be steel.
Steel, really?
Yeah, just like you said. They're going to be little weaklings that are just going to be kind of just aggro weaklings.
You know what? You're probably right. They'd probably be blue steel because that's the deck.
Or the red. They'd be blue or red. That's it. Those are the only 2 options. They're blue
I think
or red.
it's steel. I think steel is
they're in
but
blue.
I'm feeling that steel. The steel was just an immediate gut. Like, blue. Oh yeah, steel. Oh, not blue. I apologize. Red or steel. It's going to be red or steel are the 2 options for the hyena.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's red.
I think Skip's logic makes sense. I'm arguing for there to be a blue just because if they're going to do something like
blue's
that,
too rounded. Blue's too rounded.
I get you, but if it's thematically, if it's that tied to him thematically, you want to be sure you could play him. You don't want to force people to have to go with a 2-color deck. So that's. I love your point, but like
blue,
you want.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to tie that to him that closely, if you're going to make it more a loose connection where you could just like this may be a place where you want to go play, or this would be kind of cool, then I get why you would go steel. But if you're going to say that like no, these cards are going together, you got to put them in blue.
It's Skeff's 3 little pigs all over again.
Dude, right? Exactly.
We are not going down that rabbit hole again.
Just wait, we'll talk to the designer. I have an idea, guys. I just want to run this by you.
Please
so
no.
Scar, but on steroids.
Don't listen to this man.
I'm just full of terrible ideas.
All right, so moving along, I think Scar is going to be super fun. I actually think this next card is going to be super good too, and that is Aladdin, Prince Ali in green. It's a 2-cost card with a swirl. It's 2 attack, 2 defense, Storyborn Hero Prince, and a very simple but effective ability, Ward. Opponents cannot choose this character except to challenge. which means you cannot use special effects, you cannot use special abilities, you cannot target it with Dragonfire.
No
You just got to punch him in the face.
It feels like a very green card. I don't know why.
That's a hot take right there. Feels very green. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It is green.
Do you guys think this card is any good? What are your thoughts on this card? I want to hear how you're feeling about Aladdin, because he's a low to the ground little dude.
I think for 2, he's I think he's fair for his stats and what he does. He's fair. What I want to see is, it seems like, although there is a red, I think Aladdin, but I want to see if there's maybe like a genie that goes with him to where or a boo, or where there's some kind of like more to this than just the ward, basically.
Okay. Here's a question: what color do you think Jasmine is going to be?
Purple.
I bet you 60,000 pesos that Jafar is going to be in red.
What?
Absolutely.
Jafar's going to be purple.
No, what? Why?
Yeah, because of the concept of what Elsa does.
You can make the concept of what Maleficent does,
but Jafar, no.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on Jafar in red.
I think we're putting too much on the color so far. It just seems like I'm not sure that there's.
You know what? I think he might be right. I think we're overthinking the colors too thematically.
I think we are totally.
We're overthinking the concept of these colors. But at the end of the day, I think they're just like, we got to just kind of figure this out.
Jafar will be an item. Don't worry.
It goes down to the abilities, right?
I
think they've tied the colors to certain types of abilities, and that makes sense. It's not going to be. They're not going to tie the colors to the.
My favorite thing about Aladdin, it just confirms multiple characters across different colors of the same character.
Yes,
that confirmed that. So that means we're going to get different Mickeys, different Stitches.
Yeah.
Fine, Siggy, to answer your question, Jasmine will be every color.
Wow.
she'll be every color eventually.
Wow.
All these characters also be at every color eventually.
Mickey
will be at every color eventually.
I kind of hope they don't, because at that point we're playing One Piece.
I don't want to play that game.
It's fun.
I thought you guys
but
liked
everybody
One Piece.
is in every color, so
that
it's
changed fast.
Oh.
Aladdin, I will say. I mean, we don't know what a vanilla cost card is, and I think assume we talked about that before. But basically, vanilla just means what the game designers like. What a base card is at that cost. So like assumably that a 2 cost card that has a 2 attack and 2 defense, right? And he gets an ability on top of that. So I'm assuming that 2 cost with 2/2 is probably vanilla. And so he's already above par because he's getting ward. So yeah, he's cool.
We also don't know if or how many pips these characters have. That was not revealed from the Disney Lorcana.
That's a good point.
Social media. So we only know what we're talking about. So I'm going to assume in the future, A, we'll learn how these work, and B, we'll find out how many pips they have, because I'm going to assume Aladdin probably has like 2 like above average pips.
Which is funny because
Scar probably has like none or 1 maybe.
We don't know the rules, so it's like why?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
like why are you hiding the pips from?
He's gonna have 5 pips.
Because so like do they want to reveal cards later on and be like, oh, now you know the pips. It's like, well, be like
5.
I don't know, like you want to do 2 reveals. I don't get what's going on.
It was kind of weird. Like we don't know the artists for whatever reason or the rarity. Okay, but we don't know the pips, and like we don't know how the game works. So why hide that? So my gut instinct says Aladdin's going to be pretty decent. I don't know if he's going to be like game breaking, but I feel like he's probably going to be part of like a ramp deck where you start off with low to the ground.
Ooh. That's a good
creatures, idea. And then you build up. Especially like if you really look at, I'm really falling in love with green because they just have such weird and interesting abilities. Of course, we only have Cruella de Vil and Aladdin. Jumba.
I'm about to say you are disrespecting Dr. Jumba.
Jumba ain't got no abilities. He's just a big body.
Yeah, he's awesome. What's wrong with a big body?
That's all he needs is a big body.
Big butt.
My gosh. Have you seen me? I'm a big body. I'm not saying nothing. Anyways.
And we need you. So.
Oh my gosh. I just love seeing a low to the ground card with ward. You can't kill it. You have to punch him. So all of these abilities that remove characters and banish characters and exert characters. Guess what? You can't touch Prince Ali. You got to kill him the old fashioned way or challenge him the old fashioned way.
We don't kill Sugi.
You're right. But we were talking about ward earlier with Aurora because she gives other characters ward.
Right.
And we were speculating about how
double
frequently. Yeah, you get ward. So we were speculating about how frequently we would see ward and if it would be on bigger creatures, smaller creatures, any creatures. And we're immediately seeing, like, I don't know what, a couple weeks after the convention that Aurora was spoiled, a 2/2 with Ward, just flat on a creature. So I'm interested to see, especially now that we know about items, if we have equipable items. So you can slap something on Aladdin.
Evasive.
And, oh my God, if he has evasive and Ward on no, that's not
that's
fair.
the concept, right? Where it's he's only a 2/2, right? So that's the concept of like
that totally happened.
That is disgusting.
But the Aurora concept's fascinating because it's your entire board has
except
Ward.
her.
Except her, but she already did the deed, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like your whole board's safe. You just at the end of the day, that's fine. But the concept, like that's a game changing turn.
I think what Skip's saying is like you already have the game's already balanced around having Aurora. I hate to say that name, and Brave Little Taylor, right? The game's already balanced around him having.
I didn't even think about that.
That's what I was saying. The concept of just
they have to balance the game with that already. So yeah, I think totally
there has to be a board wipe then.
Right,
for sure,
exactly.
For sure.
We're gonna have this conversation again.
Yeah, listen, guys.
Yes, there has
to be a board wipe.
There has to be a board wipe.
At the end of the day,
that's how you get the dry erase marker off.
Yep.
Okay, next card. Let's move on. Next card.
Okay. Next card. So next card, super easy. The Wardrobe, 3/4 vanilla creature, Dreamborn, ally,
it's
purple.
Bad. Next.
It's just the furniture Jamba. It's Jamba furniture.
It's 3 resources with a swirl. Cheaper. Yeah,
the Jamba furniture. That's all it is.
So that means to me that each status. So maybe a vanilla card is 2 cost 1/1. Is that? I don't know. Is that what that means?
Know.
I would never buy that.
Jamba has 2 pips though. We don't know how many pips Wardrobe has.
Safe to assume the Wardrobe probably has 2 pips because it has no ability.
No. It's about one pip.
Instead of Jamba has 2 though.
Yeah, but he's a 5-drop.
He's 2
That's
more.
True. 5-drop compared to that. Yes, I would then the other 1-drop. Yep.
If that Wardrobe has 2 pips, I will crap my pants. Like that is insane.
All right, Chad, you heard it here today. Make sure you mark that down.
We're betting boosters.
the Wardrobe. I cannot wait to open
Good thing I brought the brown pants today, Dick.
Right. Oh my goodness.
The brown.
That's a Marvel property as well. Yeah, that's Disney.
It's a Marvel. It's a Disney property.
It's a Disney property. Yeah.
Okay.
Wardrobe. Moving on.
So last thoughts before we move on to community building. What do you think about these cards? We really didn't expect too much coming out of Lorcana, and we got quite a few. Some of these are interesting. Some of these are whatever. Thank you, I guess, maybe. What are your last thoughts? Because for me, I think that the Disney Lorcana team specifically showed off some cards to kind of give us more hints at how to play without giving us actual rules on how to play. I thought that was very nice of them because they easily could have just shown us random cards that make no sense. We have no idea how the game works. And
they showed off a lot of abilities. They showed off. They gave you a concept of here are we're going to have draw abilities. We're going to have healing abilities. We're going to have damaging abilities. We're going to have it's just a showcase. Yes, items. I think it was a concept of what are not groundbreaking cards, but a showcase of what the game is capable of going forward, and the concept of just you start connecting more of a competitive play mindset. We're like, okay, this is starting to click. You start kind of making these little interesting combos, and then you realize about the color, and then the summoning sickness, where it's just kind of allowing you. And if they keep doing this, they keep dropping 6 cards every other week or so, this is great because then the whole set will be done by beginning of summer, which would be phenomenal. So we could just salivate over the entire set.
I mean, there's 200 plus cards, and we've got maybe 20
at most. Yeah,
20.
But I think this is a good sign of them ramping, showcasing more, and it's not going to hurt the game if they just keep releasing. Because at the end of the day, the pips, we don't know what they are, so you really can't truly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They may release all the cards, but the pips aren't there. Then that still changes how you probably play the game. You know,
I find it interesting that those pips are one of the most interesting floodgates to understanding this game.
Right.
Such a simple thing.
I think the art's been great. I'm really surprised by the quality of the art, and it looks like I mean, I'm not a Disney art expert, but it looks like this is all new art, I'm guessing.
Yes,
I've really enjoyed the look of the game, and it's all very consistent. Even I'm assuming they're having different artists do this stuff, but it all looks very consistent and very good. I don't know.
I'll be straight with you. I would love a full art Aladdin playmat because that is some cool looking art.
Yep.
Like he's got that gangsta look. He's like, "Hey, baby."
I love Scar. Scar's art.
Prince Ali.
I would love a Scar mat. I think it looks great.
I like the Scar mat a lot. I just like the Aladdin art has just so much color in it. It's really, it pops super well.
I want a Jumbo play mat.
I hope that art is like also like colored in the foiling. Hopefully, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys notice on just we've seen 2 items, right? That's all we've seen are the 2 item cards, the rabbit and the mirror,
watch.
right?
Yep.
Did you notice on the picture of the cards, they're the only cards with a gold outline around the picture?
Yes.
Oh, I did not notice that till you just said that. Very cool.
I think that's a visual thing to determine.
Yes, to help you determine what cards are staying in play and what cards don't stay in play.
I attack your magic mirror. That's not a character.
See the gold border around there. I just little things like that to help differentiate for newer players. Because like in Magic, like if they kind of all run together, so you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But having just that little bit extra for that aesthetic, I think that's a nice touch. Where item cards are going to have, so like if you're shuffling your deck, you're like, oh, there's an item card, like just an easier way to spot something.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Jason? I'd love to hear your take on these last 6 cards.
Sure, man. Yeah, I mean, like you guys, covered it pretty well. I mean, like Scar, is, I think I 100% agree with you from a competitive angle, is the best of these 6 cards just on paper, reading them. I think for me, I'm kind of, not to sound like the grumpy old man, get off my lawn, but I kind of don't care until I see how to play this game. Like it's cool. We're seeing cards, but I'm kind of tired of waiting for gameplay.
Jesus, don't yell at us. Good God.
That's fair. I agree with
because all like, yes, like do I appreciate like the social team giving us something, because they could just say, guess what? You wait until Gen Con to find out what's in the set, noob. And they quite honestly could. They don't have to tell us anything about their game. No, like they
get on arrival, but they
exactly. So I don't know. Like sometimes it's just kind of hard to just sit here and just like constantly speculate without knowing how to play. Like, tell me how to play your game, so then we can fully help the people. So. Correct.
And at the end of the day, you also got to remember, like, they still trying to figure out how to do this. Like, they've never done any of this before. So they are learning on how to properly launch a TCG, which is not the easiest thing to do, surprisingly.
What?
I know, right? Imagine that.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Jason. I do wish we had more information so we had an educated discussion. Like honestly, it's like I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just like kind of getting like I know Gen Con's like 5-6 months away, right? But I'm just getting a little annoyed, I guess, that every time someone asks a question, it's like wait till spring. And it's like we kind of had this conversation before, right? We're like, they're like, oh, you'll find out soon. Okay, here's the IGN article. Okay, well, when's this next thing? You'll find out in spring.
Well, it makes me feel better. Technically, the first day of spring is March 20th.
Oh.
That's the official first day of spring, if you're just for the chat, if you're curious.
Oh, boy. If they're smart, they'll drop those rules.
Okay, well, fine. To continue off what Skep just said, Lorcana Twitter already has that date circled, and they're going to blow them up. Hey, it's the first day of spring. Where's the gameplay?
I feel if they don't do that, I'll be disappointed in the community.
I'm no marketing expert, right? But like, I just imagine that like they're going to be, when the rules come out, there are going to be people that are going to poo-poo the rules no matter what, right?
Oh yeah,
they're going to say this game is not for them, and they're going to make this whole big deal about it. So I can only imagine. Again, I don't know anything about marketing. I can only imagine that they want to correspond the release of the rules with an imminent release of the set, right? So you could have the hype from people that are going to be excited about the set coming out and going to play it and excited about the rules, versus like the rules coming out and then the game not even releasing for 2 months, right? So I think that's where my mind would be at if I'm trying to release this game. Like, what do they get out of releasing the rules super early, except for people brewing about how much they think the game's too basic or how much they, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think in one way, releasing the cards so that you could have more time to digest the card pool. So the rules, you could say, oh, now I read that rule. Now I know that card's there. Now I see where they could go this. Now I see where this breaks the game or this changes the game, right? Versus, having everything come out way early and just have people like, oh, game's gonna be too basic. I'm not gonna have my kid get it, right? I don't know. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say there's no such thing as bad publicity, and I'm like willing to like. I would say just like, I mean, you said 2 months. I guarantee you, at a minimum, like a month before Gen Con, they will release a how to play video, because the
I would
concept
think so, yeah.
of building hype around your game is so important before launch. Like the secretivity is great once you've become established, but having people have full transparency of what product you are providing to them, they'll be more inclined to buy it rather than to just poo-poo at it.
Right.
So I think the more
Agreed.
information that someone has to then make an educated decision rather than just a cash grab of like, we don't know what's happening, you have to buy it. And I'm like, I feel they would do the opposite where they're trying to provide information. And I feel that around, summer, I think we're definitely going to get a legitimate 1 hour long how to play video
What?
for this game.
Negative, Captain. Not 1 hour.
Probably like 10, 15 minutes.
15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's true. I don't know. I don't
A lot
know
of these games,
about
Would
they
you
do it in
really
parts.
watch a 1 hour video on how?
I did. I watched it for the Star Wars deck builder.
I mean, I would.
The Star Wars
but,
deck builder came out. Yeah, Star Wars deck builder came out, and you want to see all the cards that are in the deck. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, if it's
No, but it was
if it's Ryan and Steve sitting down playing and like going through
Yeah.
everything,
I'd watch it all, man. Dude, it's
Most
just,
companies-
it's
most
just
companies-
content, man.
Statement with
It's just content. It's just content. Like,
oh my god.
and then
Most
seeing how they
companies-
interact and taking the time and explaining things. Like, if they
Yeah.
truly want to build that hype, mate, build
They'll
the
have,
hype.
they'll
by
have,
showing
they'll have
the
that
product.
like a learn to play like live event, but like most companies when they do like their
YouTube. It'll be YouTube.
their videos, they do it in parts, right? They so here's the power phase, here's whatever phase, and they do like break them down like very small.
Now they're
snippets
going
of
back to
video.
Vine, old school, baby.
Facebook Live.
Facebook. We're gonna do a MySpace video.
The
Guys.
TikTok.
Can you guys give us
They're
a
gonna do
follow
TikToks. They're
on?
gonna do TikToks of all the rules.
I would be
With a
sad.
dance.
60
I would be very
TikToks
sad.
later.
I would be like, I still don't know what the game's about. I just see Mickey just doing the gritty over there, and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so Mickey's over there strangling Elsa to death, and yeah,
someone
Wow.
please
Wow.
make a
Sugi.
custom card of that.
Sugi, what's
chat.
going on? Why are you so
So
what's
there's a
dark
great
tonight?
concept. How soon
What
before you
happened?
start seeing like promo cards or like the concept
had
of like
one bad
allowing
day.
like promo card? That'd be interesting.
Sugi moves and like he's I don't know what's going on, man.
No.
He's a
I
new
love it.
state.
It's a new him.
He's
Phenomenal.
a new him. Dude, just dark.
That's good, man. It's like he shifted on us.
Dark
No,
Sugi over
He
here.
paid 6 and shifted.
I'm thinking of like when Homer like chokes Bart. He's got like the tongue out. Yeah, it'd be super funny seeing like.
Oh my god, that's
Mickey-
Disney now too.
Yeah,
It is,
it's
yeah,
Disney
they'd
now
allow it.
too. So it'd be hilarious to see like Mickey choking Elsa, doing like the Bart
man,
tongue
That
thing.
would absolutely backfire for the
Family show, Sugi. Family
That
show.
would absolutely
okay.
backfire.
I'm sorry. I watched
Oh,
a Simpsons
boy.
episode recently, and it was hilarious. I was like, that would make a really funny alt-art Lorcana card. I think.
But I think they're going to give us more information sooner rather than later, and
Yeah.
more because it's the thing is like they want like a company wants us talking idiots to talk about this. Like it's good for them. You know what I mean? So the more they release, the better their reach is. The more the public knows about it. It's just better for everybody. So there's no reason why they would keep the cabinet of curiosity locked.
Can't argue with that logic. It's true. You want to balance the hype so that you don't overextend and tick people off with all the secrecy, but you don't want to reveal too much too soon and then there's no hype. So I do agree. I think it's logical that we'll see the rule set either in March or April. And then I agree by summer, like May or June, we'll have some more like how to play videos, because let's be honest, it'd be kind of rough if we got the rules like spring is what, March, April, May. So if they gave us a rules reveal in like May, I don't know. It's tricky because like they need to keep the hype going, but they have to risk alienating their audience. So
I think it'll be more cards revealed than the rules. The rules will come later because the rules are that big. Like they got an FAQ. Like that's an intensive thing. But I guarantee we'll see all the cards, what they look like before it gets released.
yeah, we've had that conversation. I agree. We'll see all of the 200 plus. So that way we know what we're getting into. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us on this week's episode of the LorcanaCast. If you stuck around and enjoyed the show, please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening. Also, we would appreciate it if you take a quick moment and leave us a review on Google, on Apple, anywhere that you're listening, because that helps grow the show. So this has been the LorcanaCast. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see everybody next week. And as always, remember, Ohana means family, which means nobody gets left behind, nobody gets forgotten.
The sticky wheels always getting the grease. I'm so